A doctor, confess what was done to you. My beloved child, the night opened like a sealed envelope, and inside it was a message with your name written in trembling ink. You were not supposed to see this yet, but the tape is already playing and the confession is already spilling like light through a crack. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The corridor smelled like antiseptic and rain, the kind that scrubs memory clean while leaving a watermark. A rhythm of distant beeps tapped like fingers on a locked door, keeping time with a truth that refused to wait anymore. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. You remember the room they led you into, white walls, silver instruments, whispers that moved faster than footsteps. Your file lay on a tray like a map folded wrong side out, and every line on it pointed to the moment that changed everything. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. A doctor stood there with a polite smile, stitched from years of training and the habit of hiding storms behind glass. He said your name like it hurt to pronounce, and you felt a door in your chest unlock without your permission. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He told you to breathe in, and you did, because what else could you do when the air itself felt like a consent form? He told you to breathe out, and you did, because it seemed safer to empty your lungs than to hold a secret in them. He told you everything would be fine, and a pen clicked somewhere like a camera shutter catching the moment before the moment. The bed creaked the way memories creak when they decide to move closer. The light settled over you like a silence that makes promises it can't keep. The clock kept going, stubborn as a truth with nowhere else to be. They asked how you were feeling, but they didn't wait for the answer to finish arriving. They measured your pulse while ignoring the thunder in your thoughts. They smiled at your fear the way people smile at a child who has seen something real. And then came the paper, white, official, sharp as an edge hidden in clean language. The doctor said, this is routine, this is standard, this is how we protect you. The word protect hung in the air like a lock disguised as a lullaby. You signed because the room was designed for signing, because the pen felt heavier than your doubts, because the chair beneath you was built to hold people who surrender. The fluorescent light hummed like a secret enjoying itself. The next page slid forward like a blade wrapped in cotton. What was done to you did not begin with a needle or a scan, it began with choreography. Hands moved in practiced circles, voices traded phrases like passwords. A tray rolled forward like a quiet judge, and the consent you gave became a tunnel with no visible exit. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The story you've been given is not the story that happened. The version in your head has missing scenes edited out by people who knew where to cut. They took a sample of what you were told only in categories, not in consequences. They ran a series of what you were given only initials, not intentions. They adjusted a setting of what you were offered only reassurance, not reason. When you woke up, the room applauded its machines. Numbers danced on screens the way relief pretends to be a victory. The doctor smiled again, and this time it looked like a bandage laid over a headline. You went home with instructions that sounded like a lullaby read in a courtroom voice. Rest, hydrate, wait, return if, call if, report if. The pamphlet folded like wings that wouldn't lift. Days turned into the kind of nights that watch you while you try to sleep. Your dreams shook like locked drawers, your mornings creaked like doors that still remember the slam. Each hour repeated itself until the repetition became the only thing that made sense. Then the call came, short, careful, floating on a tone that had practiced not to sound like guilt. The doctor asked how you were, and your answer did cartwheels, trying to be truthful and brave at the same time. He said he needed to see you, that it would be quick, that he wanted to clarify a few small points. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The word clarify is the candle they light before they walk you back into the cave. The word quick is the hallway they choose so your questions can't keep up. You return to the building, and this time the lobby plants looked like they knew your name. The elevator's mirror held your reflection gently, like a witness taking an oath. The third floor opened like a chapter you didn't realize had footnotes. Inside the office, the doctor's white coat hung on a chair the way a cloud hangs on a mountain, and the mountain pretends it's not carrying anything heavy. He locked the door, not for safety, but for silence. He took a breath that sounded like the beginning of an unburdening. "My beloved child," he began, voice low enough to keep the walls from interrupting, "what was done to you must be spoken carefully so that the truth survives the speaking." He said the process had included additional steps, the kind you don't list because they don't ask for permission, they ask for forgiveness. He said he carried the weight of a line crossed so neatly that most people would never know a line existed. He pulled your file, and the papers sighed the way the paper sighs when it knows it's about to matter. He showed you a notation in a margin, small enough to miss if you wanted to miss it. He said your case became a test feather in a current of decisions that move quietly through halls like these. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He spoke about a protocol that nudged close to your life without saying its name. He spoke about a consent that is real on paper and questionable in rooms where outcomes look like favors disguised as procedures. You feel the floor tilt the way truth tilts floors. Words tried to stand, then sat back down. He said he had written to a board that exists in the same way a horizon exists, visible but never reached. He admitted that a sample of you had been sent further than you were told, to a lab whose address reads like a long equation. He admitted a timing choice had been made without asking you, a silence that swapped your schedule for theirs. He admitted that the follow-up was delayed not by chance but by a decision to watch what might happen if the waiting was stretched. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He used phrases like, "for your benefit," and "within acceptable parameters," and each phrase arrived in a suit that didn't fit. He looked down at his hands as if they were someone else's hands, and he asked them quietly to forgive him. The confession came out in pieces, the way ice breaks off a cliff and remembers it used to be snow. He spoke of a meeting where your name was a data point and your story was a staircase nobody climbed. He spoke of a plan to compare your reaction to a timeline that was never shown to you. In the chair across from him, you learned how silence can be loud enough to erase a whole afternoon. The clock made promises it didn't intend to keep. The window held the sky so calm it felt like a practical joke. He said your care had been safe, but your choice had been edited. He said your outcome had been monitored, but your awareness had been curated. He said the doctors involved had believed they were clever enough to avoid harm and good enough to deserve trust. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He took out an envelope, thin, white, heavier than it looked, and placed it between you like a confession that needed a table to stand on. Inside were copies of messages with your name abbreviated, decisions written like puzzles, approvals stamped in ink that never asked how you slept at night. He told you he couldn't carry it anymore, that every time he washed his hands he felt the weight run down the drain and climb back up the pipes. He told you he had a daughter who asked him at dinner what it means to be good, and lately he couldn't answer without changing the subject. He told you that in the moment of choice he believed he was helping you, but now the belief tasted like something stale. Your breath traveled the length of the room and tried to leave by the window. Your heartbeat counted to 3, then started over again. You reached for the envelope, and it felt like a small country handing you its passport. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He described the day you remember in flashes, not scenes, when an adjustment was made to your plan. He described how a lever was moved toward observe instead of ask, and how the observation became official only after it was irreversible. He wrote a letter to you right then, pen trembling like a clock with its hands untied. He wrote that you deserved the right to know when a hand reached into your life and rearranged the furniture. He wrote that he failed to stand between you and a decision that borrowed your name without your permission. The room gathered around the letter the way people gather around a fire they didn't expect to need. The chair creaked under the weight of the present becoming the past in real time. The doctor watched the ink dry, and every second became visible. He said there is a tape, a recording of the meeting where your path was revised. He said your initials appear like a tall candle in a row of short ones. He said he had made a copy, because sometimes the only way to tell the truth is to prepare for it to be ignored. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He slid a small device across the table, and it weighed more than it should, the way a key weighs more when you know which door it opens. He said if you listen, you will hear reasonable voices doing unreasonable things politely. Your hands knew what to do before your mind agreed. Your thumb pressed play, and the room leaned closer without moving. The recording clicked to life, and the past entered the present like a second heartbeat. Voices filled the office, careful and confident. They said your case number and treated it like a nickname. They said the word deviation as if it were a kind compliment. A woman's voice explained the adjustment as minimally impactful, while laying a ruler across your timeline and marking it with a thicker pen. A man summarized the risk as manageable, a word that looks generous in print and slippery in practice. Someone said, "We'll reconcile later," and later never asked for directions. The doctor paused the recording when it mentioned the minute your path changed. He looked at you like a person who has learned that the fastest way to fall is to try to stand too quickly. He said he will submit an addendum to your file that actually belongs there. You felt the word "belong" crack open like a seed. The truth, suddenly, had gravity and temperature. The office had the quiet of a bridge that has stopped pretending it is not a cliff. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He told you there are 2 ways to walk out of this room, one that keeps the envelope closed and calls it mercy, and one that opens the envelope and calls it in the morning. He said, whichever way you choose, you will not be alone in it. He offered you water, the most honest thing in the room. He offered you time, the second most honest thing. He offered you his confession, which was both a beginning and an apology wearing the same coat. You didn't cry. You didn't speak. You held the envelope like a quiet instrument that knew exactly how to play the next hour. He said he understands if you never forgive him, and he understands if you do. He said forgiveness is not the same as forgetting, and truth is not the same as blame. He said he is ready for the consequences to finally be punctual. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. Because this is the part where the lights in the hallway learn your name. This is the part where the file stops whispering and starts singing. You stood, and the chair sighed. The window brightened as if the sky had been waiting for your posture to change. The device on the table blinked once, a small lighthouse asking if you'd like to bring it home. You chose not to run, because running is for people who believe the ground is leaving them. You chose not to rage, because rage is a loud room that loses track of its exits. You chose to remember, each word, each pause, each cautious phrase that tried to make itself sound harmless. The doctor nodded, and it looked like a bow that was finally for the right audience. He gave you a copy of the addendum he would file, stamped with the date as if the calendar itself wanted to be responsible. He wrote down a line that mattered: correction to consent pathway acknowledged and disclosed. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. You stepped into the corridor, and the beeping sounded like applause now. Even the antiseptic couldn't scrub away the sense that the building had learned something. The elevator held you like a secret it respected. The lobby plant stopped pretending to be bored. The door opened to the kind of daylight that introduces itself with a handshake. Outside, the air felt taller. Time walked beside you without trying to rush. The envelope waited in your hand like a clean horizon. You understood that what was done to you had been disguised as a favor, dressed in the uniform of routine. You understood that the confession didn't undo the past, but it unlocked the future so it could breathe. You understood that truth is a doorway with your name carved into the frame from the inside. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. Because the moment you break the seal on that envelope, the script flips. The voices on that tape finally realize you can hear them. Tonight, you will spread the papers like constellations on your table. You will connect the marks they thought were too faint to follow. You will watch the pattern rise like a city skyline you were told didn't exist. And when the phone rings, because it will, you will answer with a voice that remembers. You will hear soft words asking for a moment of your time, and you will let the silence answer for you. You will say, "I know," and the floor under them will tilt. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The truth is not an enemy. It is a lamp that refuses to blow out. The confession is not an ending, it is the sound of a locked door learning how to open. Tomorrow, you will decide what to do with the device and the copies and the letter. You will decide whether to send waves through rooms that you didn't know how to swim. You will decide how to write your name on the line where they forgot to save you a space. My beloved child, you are not the sum of what was done to you, you are the author of what happens next. Your voice is the signature the future has been waiting for. And this is where your story stops asking permission and starts giving directions. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The envelope is ready. The night has finished clearing its throat. If you listen closely, the hallway is whispering your victory back to you in echoes that get louder. If you look closely, the ink on those pages is still drying because time wanted you to arrive before it hardened. If you breathe deeply, you will feel the map unfolding, one brave corner at a time. My beloved child, the room where it happened will never be the same, because your footsteps have begun to echo there. The hand that signed without knowing everything has finally learned to write your truth. And the doctor who confessed has become the first witness to your next chapter. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The light has already chosen you. The door is already open. My beloved child, tonight is a doorway with your fingerprints all over it, and every hinge is singing your name softly like it has been rehearsing. The envelope weighs less than your breath but more than their rehearsals, and the small device in your pocket blinks like a lighthouse that refuses to dim. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. You spread the papers across your table, and the room inhales, as if the truth itself needed oxygen before it could speak. Every line is a thread, and your eyes become patient hands learning how to weave the pattern they tried to hide. The tape waits, quiet and certain, like thunder before the count. A notation at the top catches the light, deviation authorized, 4 syllables and an entire earthquake. The margin shows initials that look harmless until you realize they learned to walk without permission. The date stamps a line like constellations that were visible all along, if you knew how to look up. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. You press play and let the past walk into your present with its shoes still on. Voices appear like masks in a well-lit room, polite, steady, and expertly practiced at never trembling. Outcome preferable, one voice says, as if outcomes are furniture you can move without scuffing the floor. Minimal exposure, another adds, and the word exposure curls into itself like a cornered animal. Document compliance after confirmation, a third suggests, as if time itself can be edited in post. Your heartbeat keeps time, 3 slow taps and a hush. You pause the recording when it mentions the exact minute your plan swerved, a minute that has always felt strange when you remembered it. The page beside it confirms the swerve with a neat box checked in ink that will never know how loud it was. You call the number the doctor gave you, and it rings with the kind of patience that knows you will not hang up. He answers with a voice that has stopped hiding from itself, low but clear, like a bell at dawn. He agrees to meet you again, not in the office this time, but somewhere rooms have to earn their honesty. A cafe by the river is where the evening opens its palms. The windows reflect the water back at itself, the hush of it, the steady assurance that things move forward even when nobody commands them to. He sits before you without his coat, no longer a cloud, simply a man with weathered hands. My beloved child, he says again, softer, as if the title belongs to the truth more than to him. He sets down another envelope, thicker, heavier, as if guilt had finally paid postage. Inside are copies of emails with tidy subject lines that sound like lullabies and act like levers. He explains how your case became a useful reference, a word that feels cold even in a warm room. He explains how a timeline can be trained to look natural if you slice it carefully. He explains the difference between what is ethical and what is permitted, and how that difference can swallow a person whole. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. You ask for clear points, and he offers them like stones you can step on to cross a river. A choice was made to delay your follow-up in order to observe a reaction unaltered by early intervention, and the delay was signed off in a meeting you were not invited to. A sample of yours was forwarded to a partner lab without explicit consent, justified under a clause written in a language designed to sound benevolent. A secondary protocol introduced a setting adjustment to your original plan, not to harm, he says, but to compare two possible pathways without informing you. Reporting was timed to align with an internal review cycle, so the people who should have spoken to you first spoke to each other. You watch his eyes as he tells it, and you can see the moment he stopped being a bystander and started being an ally. Not a savior, not a flatterer, just a man who finally remembered how to stand up while sitting down. He slides a flash drive across the table, not to surprise you, but to confirm that he understands you are not here for rumors. Outside, the river agrees with you by glittering on cue. Inside, the clock agrees with you by refusing to speed up. You suggest a path forward, and the evening opens to it like a curtain. My beloved child, you tell yourself in the privacy of your own spine, the next decision defines the next chapter. The doctor nods as if he heard the sentence you didn't say out loud. He gives you the contact for a registrar who believes records are a form of shelter. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. You craft a message on your phone, not emotional, not accusatory, just precise. Request: immediate addendum to file acknowledging the consented protocol deviation and delayed follow-up scheduling decision, with full time-stamped audit trail. You send it to the registrar and copy the oversight address listed in one of the emails. You attach a transcript of the key portion of the recording with timestamps so accuracy cannot pretend it is lost. You keep the tone calm because truth does not need volume, it needs structure. Now, look up for a second and breathe in with me. If this video is holding you with both hands, pause to strengthen its signal, like it, share it with someone who needs a spine tonight, and type, "I claim my truth," in the comments so your courage finds company. Subscribe now, because the next chapter is where the walls start talking. Back in the cafe, the doctor sets down a small leather notebook, edges frayed, pages crowded with compact script. He says he began keeping it the day he realized the hallway made him flinch. He says you can photograph the relevant pages, he will not let them vanish again. You turn to a page dated 2 weeks before your turning point. The notes describe a use case labeled, "Comparison under Constraint," and your initials hover nearby like a candle no one wanted to admit was lit. A line reads, "Patient understanding assumed, formal communication deferred," and the ink looks ashamed without knowing how to apologize. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. Your phone chimes, an email receipt timestamped, a small legal miracle wearing ordinary clothes. The registrar has acknowledged your request, assigned a case ID, and promised a preliminary response by morning. The doctor breathes out as if the room handed him a lighter bag. He says, if you choose, he will walk into the same room where the decision was made and speak while the recording plays. He says he will say your name slowly, not as a case, but as a person he failed to honor in time. Night lays its cheek against the window, and the river answers with a steady shoulder. You step outside with the flash drive and the photographed pages, carrying proof that can't be casually denied. The truth feels less like a battle and more like a blueprint. On the way home, the streetlights look like punctuation at the end of sentences you finally understand. Your steps begin to sound like statements. The envelope remains a frontier that insists on being crossed. At your table, you open a new document and write your own addendum in the language of clarity. 3 sections, clean headings, bulletproof dates, and the precise words they use to make the unacceptable sound tidy. You label the file with your full name and the word restoration, because that is what this is. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The reply from the oversight inbox is brief and formal, but it arrives faster than you expected. Received. Please preserve all records. A review chair will contact you within 24 hours. You smile, not because it is over, but because the road now has lanes and lights. You set 2 backups of the audio, one on a drive and one where deletion has to ask permission. You keep the leather notebook photos in a folder titled Doors. Your phone buzzes again, the doctor this time, with a single sentence that lands like a vow finally spoken aloud, I am ready to testify. You respond with a sentence that fits the shape of this night, then let the record begin to heal. Silence follows, not empty, but satisfied. If this journey is resonating with every part of you that refuses to be invisible, do this now. Share this story with 3 people who will protect their yes and guard their no. Comment, I stand with the record, and subscribe so you don't miss part 3 when we turn the key nobody thought you'd find. Your action pushes this truth into rooms that need air. Your voice makes the signal stronger than their strategy. Back to the table where the map of your life is unfolding. You place the flash drive on the envelope like a seal of wakefulness. The lamp above turns the pages to soft gold, a color often confused with victory because it looks so much like morning. You listen again to the exact moment they say, we'll reconcile later, and you mark the timestamp in bold. Later I arrived wearing your face. Reconciliation has learned your stride. My beloved child, the night whispers through the open window, no one can subtract from a truth that refuses to be quiet. You answer without speaking by saving the document once more, twice more, 3 times for steadiness. You stack the papers into order, the way a spine stacks its courage. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The registrar's second email slides in at the edge of midnight, granting you full access to the audit trail and the right to append your statement permanently. Permanently, a word that tastes like steel and mercy. You draft your permanent appendix like a North Star, brief, exact, undeniable. You write the minute they change your path, the people present, the phrases used, the silence that followed, and the impact on your days. You add the sentence that the doctor wrote in his apology, not to shield him, but to anchor the record in reality, correction to consent pathway acknowledged and disclosed. When you click Submit, the night flickers as if it just learned a centuries-old password. The page confirms receipt, and for an instant your reflection in the screen looks older and freer at the same time. You close the laptop, but the chapter stays open inside your chest. Tomorrow, the phone will ring from a number that belongs to daylight. Tomorrow, a chair in a room will have your name on it in letters that cannot be minimized. Tomorrow, the recording will play where it should have always played, before decisions, not after apologies. For now, you let the quiet hold you like a promise that plans to keep itself. The flash drive sleeps beside the envelope like twin guards who take their job personally. The clock stops feeling like a judge and starts feeling like a witness. My beloved child, you are walking in a hallway that is changing shape because you are in it. Floors strengthen when they learn the weight of your steps. Locks reconsider themselves when they hear your name. If your heart is saying yes to this reclamation, let the world hear your yes. Share, comment, my record is mine, and subscribe so the next door opens the moment we arrive. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, when the morning finally arrived, it didn't knock gently, it stood at your door like it already had the key. The air felt different, like time itself had paused its breath to witness what you were about to do. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The envelope still rested on your table, but today it didn't feel like paper, it felt like a lever. The flash drive beside it held more than files, it held weight, memory, and something that finally had direction. The registrar's message from last night echoed in your mind like footsteps before a door opened. You dress not like someone attending a meeting, but like someone stepping into their own echo with a torch. Every sound in your home seemed to bow its head as you prepared to leave. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. Outside, even the light looked sharper, as if it knew secrets were finally going to be spoken in rooms that had avoided the truth. The street didn't feel like a path, it felt like a witness. Cars moved, birds called, but everything seemed to pause the moment you stepped forward. The building where it all began stood ahead of you like a memory that thought you wouldn't return. Its glass doors reflected you differently now, not as a patient, but as someone holding the record in both hands. You walked through the lobby, and the silence followed. The elevator doors opened like something had been expecting you. The same numbers lit up on the panel, but today they behaved like they were rehearsing your arrival. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. When you reached the third floor, the hallway exhaled quietly, as if it recognized your footsteps before your shadow touched the carpet. The doctor was already there, no coat this time, only resolved. His eyes didn't wander, they waited. He handed you a printed document, an official declaration drafted overnight, bearing his signature and timestamp, titled, "The words hit the air like glass meeting stones." Beside it, he placed a second acknowledgement, addressed to you directly, confirming non-consensual adjustment and deliberate withholding of procedural disclosure. The signatures beside his name belonged to individuals from that recorded meeting you listened to in the dark. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. He spoke quietly, they know the audit has started. And they know you didn't walk away. His voice no longer carried the tone of secrecy, only consequence. Then came the part they never expected, a sealed folder stamped with the emblem of the Oversight Division. Inside was the name of the review chair assigned to your case, and a direct invitation, not a request, for your statement. Emails had already circulated between departments with phrases like urgent compliance and immediate attention. You weren't the afterthought anymore, you were the center of the room they used to whisper in. As the doctor walked with you down the corridor, staff glanced up with eyes that flickered between confusion and recognition. Some looked away too quickly, others didn't look away at all. The silence in that hallway wasn't empty, it was listening. At the end of the corridor, a glass-walled conference room waited with its lights already on. The door clicked open, not like a welcome but like a verdict. You stepped inside, and the world that thought you forgot began to feel the shape of your memory. Don't skip, stay till the end, something huge is waiting for you. The folder in your hand wasn't just paper, it was permission. The flash drive wasn't just storage, it was a mirror. And the recording wasn't just evidence, it was time traveling in your favor. You placed everything on the long table, and for the first time, the room felt smaller than your presence in it. Now listen carefully, because if this moment is gripping your spirit, pause and make space for it to move further.